Good morning and welcome to Wednesday. Every Wednesday morning, we have gentle yoga. And in gentle yoga, we keep our whole routine pretty close to the floor and we focus on moving slowly through our poses, gradually opening up the body to greet the new day. This week, we are inspired by the Pritzvi Mudra, which you take by putting your ring finger together against your thumb, extending your three fingers, turning your hands so that your palms are facing up and extending your arms. In this mudra, we focus on having a beautiful, straight, long spine. And this is a grounding mudra. It is indeed the mudra of the earth. So it reminds us to focus on the foundation, to focus on staying grounded and staying present in the moment. It helps us to reduce our anxiety and our stress. It helps us to lower our blood pressure. And it helps us to calm our digestive system so that we have more effective elimination. So I've been encouraging people this week to take this mudra 10 minutes a day and have the marvelous and wonderful, incalculable benefits that come with this mudra. So we're going to start our practice this morning with the Prithvi, all of a sudden I can't say it, that mudra. Take a seat in Sukhasana. And I encourage you to sit up on a bolster or a block. These half blocks are a wonderful height for sitting on a block. If you start off your practice sitting on a block, yoga blocks come in this height and they come in double this height. And so I encourage you to sit up high. And the reason I encourage that is you can see what my legs are doing right now. It allows the more natural opening of the hips, allows the knees to fall down to the floor without having to compromise the integrity of your alignment, of your posture. So when I sit like this, it allows my pelvis bowl to shift slightly forward, and it allows me to draw my shoulders back and down and draw the crown of my head up without feeling like there's a lot of effort involved in that, in doing so. So I strongly encourage that when you start off any of your practices, that you start off slightly higher off of the floor than your knees are. And if you find yourself rolling down, if you find yourself bringing your knees up, that is the natural antidote, is to lift up those hips. However high you need to lift them, lift up those hips. And as you see, I start off our practices in easy seated pose, Tsukasana. This is a nice way to begin to open up the hips without torquing the hips. There are lots of people that have wonderful openness of their hips, and they can easily go into half lotus or full lotus to begin their practice. And half lotus is much easier than full lotus, but I like to start off the practice a little bit more gentle. So let's take the Prithvi. You know what? I'm going to read it because I've got my letters confused. Pritzvi Mudra. I don't know where the F came from. So the Pritzvi Mudra. So we take our ring finger, place it against our thumb, extend our three fingers, turn our hand upside down, and extend our arm. But note if your shoulders just rounded in that effort. So inhale your shoulders up, draw them back down on your spine, and then draw your head back so that your chin is parallel with the floor. Now close your eyes and begin to find some ease in this effort within this posture. So maintain your integrity while softening your edges. Start to breathe in and out of your nose. As you inhale, expand your belly. And as you exhale, draw it back in. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale And exhale. As you begin your inhale, start from the very root of your spine. And while you're inhaling, grow your breath all the way to the crown of the head. And then on your exhale, draw your breath back down to the root of your spine. Continue to do that without the cues from me. And while you're inhaling and exhaling, focus on the very base of the spine, the root chakra, Muladhara, glowing in the color of red, tethering you, grounding you to the earth. The root chakra is the foundation, most closely aligned with our youngest years, birth to 3. Within this mudra lie all of our most basic needs and instincts. Our need for safety, for nurturing care, for shelter, for nourishment. It all starts there. And when this chakra is well aligned, we have the confidence to be creative, to reach out and spread our wings, to be adventurous, to connect with others, to set our intentions and see them through. But it all starts right here with the root chakra, home base. While you're sitting here breathing in and out, growing your breath from the base of your spine all the way to the crown of your head, be sure to check in with your alignment. Check to make sure that you are drawing the crown of your head up and drawing your heart center up. And when you take this posture, it allows your shoulders to naturally float down and move onto your back. Let's take 2 more breath cycles. One more breath. Exhale fully. Release the mudra by placing your hands on your thighs, palm side down, and gently flutter your eyes open, finding a fixed point ahead of you, finding your drishti gaze, allowing your consciousness to be drawn down to the earth, continuing to draw your energy down, focusing on a smooth and slower heart rate, on smooth and slow respiration. Let's inhale our hands up, drawing up energy from the ground and rising all the way up. And then exhale, draw that back down to the earth. Inhale, scoop that energy up, rising your hands overhead. And then exhale, draw it back down. Let's inhale, scoop that energy up again. And then on your exhale, let's take a twist. Place our left hand on top of our right leg, right hand behind us. Lift up the crown of the head on your inhale and exhale. Draw your body to the right. Don't torque too hardly. This is our first twist of the day. But when we twist, we wring out stress. We stimulate our internal organs. If you ever have moments of feeling stuck, twists are the way to go. Take a nice inhale. Fully exhale. Inhale, bring your hands out and up. On your next exhale, take your right hand to your left leg. Bring your left hand behind you, turning to the left. Inhale, draw the crown up. And exhale, turn to your left. Take one more inhale. Fully exhale. And then inhale, turn forward and bring your hands up again, inhaling. And then exhale, bring your hands back down. So we're going to begin our morning with some spinal warm-ups. Let's start from our seated posture of doing some cow-cats. And then what we will do is move to tabletop to continue with that. So inhale, draw your heart center through, float your hip bones back or your sit bones back. Open up your throat. On your exhale, curl your back towards the wall behind you, tilting your pelvis bowl slightly forward, rounding the shoulders and drawing chin to chest. Inhale, draw the heart center through, floating the sit bones back, lifting up the heart. And then on your exhale, reverse that, drawing your back to the wall behind you. Inhale, float the heart center forward, float the sit bones back. And then exhale, reversing all of that. Rise up into a nice tall seated posture. Place your left hand on the floor. Bring your right arm out to the side, up alongside the right ear, and curl to the left in Ardha Chandrasana. Drawing your right shoulder slightly back so that you can spiral your heart center up to the ceiling. Take another inhale, reach. And then exhale, float your right hand down. Take your left arm out to the side, up alongside your left ear, and curl to the right, drawing your left shoulder back to spiral your heart center up. Take another inhale. Then exhale, float your left hand down. Let's circle our hands up again. Inhale up. And then exhale them back down. So it's nice to start off linking some movement to breath before we move into our asanas. Really reminding us that yoga is all about the breathing. So I'm moving my bolster off to the side. And I'm going to take tabletop. So moving to the center of your mat, facing the top of your mat. So I'm going to face my window here so that you can have a nice side view of all of my activity. We're going to first move into cow. And first, let's start in a nice strong tabletop, placing both hands on the floor, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, tightening up the core muscles by drawing the belly button in. When our hips are stacked perfectly over our knees, it does leave space for the tailbone to slightly descend down to the floor. Into cow, inhale by dropping the belly, lifting up your sit bone, and lifting up your heart center by drawing your shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, reversing that into cat, drawing your back up to the ceiling. Dropping the crown of your head, rounding your shoulders, and dropping your tailbone. Reverse that into cow, dropping the belly, lifting the heart center and the sits bones. Exhale, reversing that into cow as we draw our spine all the way up to the ceiling. Cow, inhale. Exhale into cat. And then inhale into neutral. Let's find our way at the top of the mat into Tadasana. Let's take the Pritzvi Mudra again into Tadasana to remind us that we are grounding this morning. Turn our hands forward with the Pritzvi Mudra. Draw the crown of our head up. Sorry, I have a little bit of something in my throat. Let me take a little sip of water. Gotcha. I hate when that happens. Okay. So turn our hands forward, draw our shoulders down, lift up our heart center. Allow our tailbone to start to descend to the floor by creating a softness in the knees so that we are engaging our thigh muscles. Drawing the crown of our head back in alignment with our spine. Let's just stand here in Tadasana for just a moment. Being well reminded that we are grounded into the earth. Drawing energy from the earth all the way up, through the feet, through the arches, up through the legs, through the core, to the heart, and all the way up to the crown of the head. Take a nice inhale. And then exhale, release that mudra. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, bending our legs to start, allowing our spine to be flat while we descend down. Drop the crown. Inhale into a flat spine by pressing our hands against our shins or against our thighs, lifting up into like a letter L shape, drawing the shoulders away from the ears as we draw the crown of our head forward. Exhale, descend down. Inhale, rising all the way up. And then exhale, draw your hands to heart center. I'm going to create a little bit more space. I'm really close to those tables. Inhale. Exhale the hands down. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward again. Bend your legs. Allow your torso to lay right across your thighs as you drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine and exhale down. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale our hands down. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Now we're going to go into our sun salutation. Drop our crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. And take your blocks. Take your right foot back and drop your knee. Initially, we're not going to try to open up the hips. So just draw your blocks back in alignment with your shoulders and place your hands on your blocks. Inhale your heart center up as you drop your shoulders down. And then exhale, remove those blocks. Place your hands on the floor. Take your left knee back to join your right and walk your hands forward in puppy dog. Your first puppy dog pose of the day is just like your first downward facing dog. You're focusing on beginning to open up the front side of the body in this pose. Keep your knees or your hips up nice and high, stacked perfectly over your knees. And rather than descend the heart down, just reach the hands forward and draw your belly button up against the spine. Inhale. Exhale, walk your hands back. Take your blocks. Take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, take your right foot forward. Inhale, lift up that heart center. And then exhale, Hands to the floor. Take your left foot forward to join the right. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhaling down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. I have a lot of postnatal drip this morning. It's windy outside. Inhale. Exhale our hands down. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the floor, drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, take your left foot back. Dropping your knee, grab your blocks. Inhale, lift up your heart center. Lifting up and out of that hip. Exhale, drop your blocks. Move your right knee back to join your left and walk your hands forward in puppy dog pose. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. And then on your exhale, take your left foot forward. Inhale, lift up the heart center. Lift up out of that right hip. And then on the exhale, place your hands on the floor. Take right foot forward to join the left. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhaling down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So if any of you joined me for yoga last night, you may notice a difference in how your body feels nighttime to morning. So we all have a natural circadian rhythm. And in the morning, for most of us, we are just not very open first thing in the morning. So notice how slowly we're moving, and we're taking all of these modifications because last night I felt open and flexible, and just 12 hours later, I'm tight again. But being honest with ourselves in yoga means we accept what our body is like at any given moment. We accept that from hour to hour, day to day, our body is different and changing all the time. And in honoring that, we respond to it. We don't try to push it. We don't try to force anything to happen. So this is just a reminder to you that it's okay to take things very slow in the morning for that reason. Let's inhale our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Bend those legs. Fold over your legs. Drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, take our right leg back, drop our right knee. Grab those blocks. Inhale, lifting up the heart center. If you feel like you're ready, you can start to move your hips forward. And then exhale, drop those blocks. Place your hands down. Left knee back to join the right and walk your hands forward. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. Take your blocks and bring your right foot forward. Exhale. Inhale, lift up your heart center. Draw the shoulders down. Perhaps start to move those hips forward. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Drop your hands, your blocks. Take your left foot forward to join the right. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhaling down. Inhale, reverse swan dive. All the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, our hands down. Inhale, our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down and take our left foot back. Inhale the heart center up. Perhaps allow your hips to float forward. Exhale, bring your right knee back to join the left and walk forward in puppy dog pose. Inhale. Fully exhale. Inhale, bring your hands back and then take your left foot forward. Inhale, rise up the heart center. And exhale, draw your heart center up as you bring your hips forward. Inhale. Exhale, drop the blocks, bring right foot forward to join the left. Inhale into that flat spine and exhale down. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Exhale, bring hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale the hands down. Inhale them up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Take our right foot back again, dropping our right knee. Inhale our heart center up as we allow our hips to come forward. And then on the exhale, let's move back into half Hanumanasana. So to do this, stay up on your blocks and just move the hips back. Just keep moving them back. And as they come back, lift up your toes off the floor once your leg is straight. And then focus on drawing the hips back as you draw your heart center forward. Notice I am not encouraging you to draw down towards the leg. I'm encouraging you to move the heart forward. If eventually it draws down to the leg as part of that process when your body is open, excellent. But what I want you to feel is a nice stretch all along the back of your left hamstring. I do not want you to feel discomfort in your lower spine. So please bring your shoulders back and down and keep your heart center lifted. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, returning back to that. Bringing your left foot back to join your right. And walking your hands forward in puppy dog pose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. Grab your blocks and take your right foot forward. Inhale your heart center up. Drawing those hips forward. And then exhale. Let's move back into half Hanumanasana, drawing the hips back. Once your leg is straight, allow those toes to peel off of the floor. And then draw the heart center forward as you're drawing your shoulders onto your spine. Feeling that opening of the back of your hamstring. This is a very important thing to do when we sit a lot for work or other activities, or we do a lot of walking or a lot of running. We shorten these hamstrings up. And when these hamstrings are shortened, they draw down on the muscles of your lower spine and tighten up those hip flexors. And when the hip flexors are tight, then you have back pain because your whole back is stiff on the lower part. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Let's move forward. Drop our blocks and bring our left foot forward to join the right. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhaling down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, our hands down. Inhale, our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Drop your hands, drop your ground. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhaling down. Take our left foot back and drop our knee. On your inhale, lift up your heart center as you bring your hips forward. And then we're going to take that Hanumanasana again. So on your exhale, draw your hips back, pulling your toes off the floor. Adjust your blocks so that they are underneath your shoulders, drawing your heart center forward as you're drawing your right hip backward. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, moving forward and then bringing our right knee back to join the left and then walking our hands forward. Inhale. Exhale, reach your hands forward. You might be starting to feel greater openness of your shoulders now. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up and walk those hands back. And then on your exhale, take your left foot forward. Inhale, rise up your heart center, moving your hips forward to open up your right hip. And then on your exhale, move your hips back. Allow that left leg to straighten out and peel those toes off the floor. Adjust your blocks so that they are underneath your shoulders, drawing your heart center forward as you're bringing your hips backward. Inhale and exhale. I need to let the cat out of the bedroom or else he's going to wake up Scott. So you continue to stay in that Hanumanasana while I do that. This is Steve. When we do yoga at home, pets are part of it. Okay, so let's move forward now out of that. Bring right foot forward to join our left. Inhale into a flat spine and exhale down. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment to assess how you feel having started opening up the backs of the legs. So a lot of times people move into the effort to open up the back of the leg, but they involve their lower back in that. So what I hope to do is teach you ways that you can stretch out the backs of your legs without your back being involved. So let's move into the more floor movements. Inhale our hands up. Exhale our hands down. Drop your crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Take our right leg back. Drop our knee. Drop our blocks. Take our other knee back to join the left knee. And then just briefly sit back on your feet. Stretching out to your feet. Feeling your feet open up. Feet are frequently neglected and we must give them attention every single day, because if we don't, they will let us know. So take a nice inhale. Exhale. Let's go into rabbit now. So grab your heels on the back. Fold over your legs. This is a time when you actually can round your back, because what you're going to do is draw your hands down to your heels. So you're pulling against your feet. Crunch up all of your abdominal muscles and then allow your crown of your head to descend to the floor. It does not have to touch the floor, but it is descending to the floor. This is an entirely grounding pose. Pull your abdominal muscles in, strengthen, 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 and then just release that. And then briefly flatten out your feet and sit back on them. Doing a little bit of deep knee work this morning to bring synovial fluid to those joints. If you find it's difficult to sit in a deep pose like this, you certainly can always sit on a block or on a blanket, and actually setting that block right on top of your heels. If it's a half block, might feel a little weird on the feet. It stretches them out a little bit, but it does take pressure off of the knees. You can also separate your knees and your legs and sit on top of the block. You can double up 2 half blocks and sit even higher if you need to. But doing a little bit of deep knee bending every day is really good to bring synovial fluid to the joint, to juice up those joints, make them more flexible, and make them less prone to injuries. So now we can remove those blocks. And we're going to go into deer pose. Deer is a wonderful pose to take our left foot forward, so bring the knee forward, then bring our right foot out in alignment with the knee. So we're trying to create a parallel experience of the front of our shin to the front of the mat. Then sit back on your hip, on your left hip, and then create that same parallelity. Is that a word? Parallelity? Parallelness. with our right thigh. So you may remember sitting this way as a kid a lot. We did. We all did. Only we usually kind of brought this foot back, but I like to keep that kind of open. And so what I want you to just do right now is just get into this experience of sitting nice and tall, opening up this right hip in a unique way. So we're rotating the hip down, allowing, the leg bone to rotate down inside of the hip. So we need to increase all the ways that our joints move and increase our range of motion in them, encouraging that range of motion. So by sitting this way, we're really opening up that psoa, but not in quite the way we do when we go into lunges. So take a nice inhale, sit nice and tall. And then on your exhale, draw your right hip back so that your sits bone makes contact with the floor. That puts a little bit more pressure on that hip. If you find that that's too hard to do, don't bother. You don't have to do this movement. You can just stay in a neutral position. And then when you do that, it does bring up this left knee just a little bit, and that's okay. And then that's your exhale. Inhale, draw this knee down as you bring your hip up and forward again. Draw your shoulders down, lifting up the heart, lifting up the crown, nice tall body. And then exhale, draw that hip back down, that right hip. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, come back down. Inhale, lift up again. And then take our right leg backwards as we head into pigeon pose. So last night we really focused on strength in the pigeon pose, but today we're just going to focus on more passive stretching. So let's initially start, and I recommend your blocks, because the blocks really help us to have nice alignment. So you can have your blocks high, you can have them on the, the two long ends. So this is the shortest height, then the next one up, then the tallest height. So I'm going to have mine on the middle height, drawing my heart up. It's almost like you're going into cobra, and I'm just lifting up my heart center, lifting up and out of my hips with my right leg behind me, which provides a nice, beautiful opening of that right hip. Continue to use your arms to lift up. Take a nice inhale, and then on your exhale, release all of that. And let's move forward. Place your blocks in front of you. Place your elbows on top of your blocks. Remembering that we're moving gently into these poses. So we're using these blocks to help our body have nice alignment. Open up gently without creating risk of injury. Now, if you want to remove your blocks, you certainly can. But I feel like right now, I'm getting just the kind of stretch that I need on the outside of my left hip and on the front of my right psoa. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, rise up. Bring those blocks back with you. Sit back down on your left hip. And then bring your right leg around as we move into a seated twist. Let's start off with our seated twist, having our left foot out in front of us. Sometimes that helps us to move into the twist more easily. Let's start off hugging our left knee, or right knee, sorry, towards our left shoulder. And let's just focus on sitting up tall and hugging our leg. Just feeling the opening of our right hip. Just enjoying that gentle stretch. And then take that right knee, supported as you cross over your right ankle on top of your left knee, not on the knee itself, but above the knee. Supporting your right knee with your hand, supporting your ankle and your foot with your other hand. And just move slightly forward to open up the left hamstring again. Feeling that beautiful opening. Keep your foot flexed, your toes facing the ceiling. And then inhale, rise up. Take your right foot off of your left leg. Make your right shin parallel with the mat in front of you. Take your left leg back and create that parallelity. That's my new word of the day, parallelity. Have your left thigh parallel with your right shin. And again, we're just going to sit up nice and tall as we're sitting on our right hip. Just getting into this opening. And it might feel better one side versus the other, or worse. My right thigh or my right hip is always more open than my left. So this doesn't even feel to me like it's doing anything right now. That's okay though. I'm not going to exploit this side by trying to make it do more than my other side. Because what we want in yoga is we want balance. When we are at balance, we risk injury. So what we try to do is always try to bring the left side equal to the right, even though we know that they aren't equal. We try to create that. Inhale, lift up the heart center, lift up the left hip so that you can kind of open up the psoas more, lifting the sit bone off the floor. On your exhale, draw it back down. Now again, like I said, if you feel like opening your hip in this way isn't for you, you can stay in neutral. You can just go back to neutral. So drawing that hip back down, drawing that sit bone onto the floor. Yes, it brings up this right knee, and that's okay. Inhale, bring that right knee down. Bring your left hip up. And then exhale, draw that left sit bone down, creating as much contact as you can with both sit bones on the floor. Inhale, lifting up the hip bone, moving the hip forward. And then exhale, draw that sits bone back down, allowing your right knee to rise up. And then one more inhale. And then let's move forward into pigeon on the right side. So take your blocks again. My preference is the middle height for this morning's exercise. And inhale, just lift up and out. So your hips are not on the floor. We are lifting up the heart center. We are opening up that left hip. We're creating like a cobra experience or upward facing dog with our upper body as we have our legs in this position. Take an inhale and then exhale. You can go ahead and lower down. And so now if you want to release that right hip a little bit more, you can. Mine is still not touching the floor, and that's okay with me. I'm moving my energy forward though, which is really encouraging. A very nice opening of the outside of that right hip. Pigeon's a wonderful pose that you can take in so many different ways. You can do it like we are today. You can get very deeply into pigeon. You can do passive stretching. You can do active stretching where you use pigeon to strengthen your pelvis. You can do pigeon with your legs on the wall. You can do pigeon sitting in a chair. You can do pigeon sitting on the floor with your arms behind your back, supporting you. You can do pigeon laying on the floor. I just love all the different ways that we can stretch out the backs of our hips through pigeon. Take another inhale. And then exhale, rise up. Move those blocks out of the way. Sit back down on your right hip. Bring your left leg over to cross over your right leg. And then take your right foot forward. So instead of doing the spinal twist with our legs folded underneath us, we've got our right leg out in front. And we're not really going into a twist so much as we're just going to hug the leg. So draw that right knee or that left knee into the right shoulder and sit up nice and tall. You can't hurt yourself hugging your body. That's what I love about this, is that we get the benefit of the spinal twist, but we get a nice stretch of the left hip while we're doing it. And there's just no way to hurt yourself doing that. So it's just beautiful. These are wonderful exercises to do in the morning when you know you're going to be sitting in a chair all day. Because when we sit in chairs all day, it really dumps on the lower back. Now, I don't have an ideal chair situation set up here. I think I need to get a ball chair for home. I used to have one. I gave it to my son. I have one at work, and it really helps. Take another inhale. And then on your exhale, holding onto your left knee, allow it to drop to the outside, crossing your right ankle on top of your left ankle on top of your right knee, holding on to that left foot, supporting it, supporting your left knee with your left hand. Move your heart center forward. Make sure that you're flexing your foot, drawing your toes up to the ceiling. Inhale, rise up. And we've got about another 15 minutes. So I'm going to encourage us to do a little bit more floor work before we settle into Shavasana. So let's rise up on top of our knees. You know where we're going, because I love to have gate pose as part of our opening up. So take our right foot out to the side. Take our hands up to warrior two arms. Exhale, drop your left hand down, right hand up to the ceiling. And initially, move your hips forward. This should feel good now that we've been opening up the body. And draw our right arm alongside our right ear. Nice full body stretch. Take a nice inhale. Fully exhale and rotate your right shoulder back just a little bit. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, rise up. On your exhale, drop your right hand down to your right leg. Bring your left hand up alongside your left ear. And then curl to the right. Nice full body stretch on the right. Feeling that. Oh my goodness, isn't that wonderful? So part of opening up the hips is that we open up our side waist, making sure that we've got plenty of opening in the side body. Inhale, rise up into warrior two arms. Exhale, drop our left hand down, bringing our right hand overhead. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, drop our right hand to our right leg, curling to the right, drawing our left arm alongside our left ear. Inhale, rise up into warrior two arms. Exhale, drop your left hand, drawing your right arm opposite of your right leg. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, drop our right hand to our right leg, drawing our left hand in the same direction as our right foot. Let's do that one more time. Rise up into warrior two arms. Exhale, drop our left hand, draw our right arm alongside our right ear. And then exhale, rise up and drop our right hand to our right leg and draw our left arm alongside our left ear. Rise up, hands on our hips, bring the right knee to join the left and take our left leg out. Setting up again. Inhale our hands into warrior two arms. Drop right hand to the floor, left hand overhead, and then draw it alongside your left ear so you have a nice full body stretch. Maybe press your hips forward just a little bit to open up that hip. There you go. And draw your left shoulder back just a little bit. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up into warrior two arms. Exhale, drop your left hand to your left leg. Right arm up alongside your right ear and curl to the left. Take one more inhale. Exhale, rise up into warrior two arms. Drop your right arm, bring up your left arm, and draw your left arm alongside your left ear. Inhale, rise up into warrior two arms, dropping your left hand on your left leg, curling to the left. Inhale into warrior two arms, drop your right hand, left arm up and alongside your left ear. Inhale, rise up into warrior two arms, dropping your left hand, curling to the left. And then one final round, dropping your right hand to the floor on your exhale, drawing your left arm alongside your left ear. And then inhale, rise up and drop your left hand to your left leg and curl to your left. Inhale, rise up into warrior two arms, placing your hands on your hips and bringing your knees in. If it's available to you, I'm going to go into Hanumanasana now. Hanumanasana is the garland pose. So the way we can start in Hanumanasana is have like a wide-legged forward fold with our legs deeply bent. Our goal right now is to just set up for it. We're not stretching anything out. And then you sit back down in between your legs and place your elbows on the inside of your thighs, inside of your knees. Draw your heart center up, push your hands together. And when you push your hands together, it kind of slightly pushes your knees out. So I'll show this to you from the side. So ideally, we even want to sit all the way back, but you know, you can see my toes lifting when I do that. So, but what we don't want is we don't want to be crouched down like this. We really want to harness the posture by drawing our elbows up inside of our knees and lifting up the heart center and drawing the shoulders down. If you find it's difficult to have your bottom that close to the floor, you can sit on a block if you need to. You'll still get a nice opening of your hips by doing that. You can even take that posture if you're somebody that's well experienced in Hanumanasana as I am. It doesn't matter. Another variation that you can take is lifting up the heels off the floor. If you find that it's difficult to have your Achilles tendons stretched out like that, you can also place a blanket underneath your feet, underneath your heels. And just enjoy this opening. Let's move forward. If you have a block, go ahead and remove that. We're going to very gently go into Skandasana. So we're kind of in this froggy crouch right now, okay? Take our right foot out to the side, knee facing the ceiling, toes facing the ceiling, right leg is straight. Just enjoy that stretch along the hamstring on the bottom and the opening of the thigh. Take a nice inhale. On your exhale, bring that foot slightly in, shift your weight to the right and stretch out your left leg. This is Skandasana. We're doing a very modified version of it. Inhale, and then on your exhale, drop your toes and move to the left. Inhale, exhale. And let's now start to move with the breath. Inhale, drop your right toes. Exhale, moving to the left. Inhale, drop your left toes. Exhale, opening up the right leg. So actually you're moving to the right. Sorry about that. Inhale, dropping your right toes, moving to the right. On your exhale, inhale, drop your left toes. And then on your exhale, moving to the left and lifting up your right toe. Inhale, moving your right toes forward, shifting your weight to the right, and exhale, opening up your left leg. Inhale, drop your left toes, moving your weight to the left, and exhale, lifting up your right toes. Let's do one more cycle. Drop your right toes on the inhale, crouching, moving to the right. Exhale, opening up your left leg. And then on your inhale, dropping your left toes, shifting over to the left, and opening up your right leg. And then let's return back to Hanumanasana, wherever you are, to finish that off. Now we're going to sit back on the mat. Feet facing the front of your mat, and your head will face the back as we move into Shavasana. So go ahead and descend down. Right now, my knees are bent, my feet are on the floor. That's a totally acceptable way to move into Shavasana. You can also take bound angle pose, where you place the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to descend down. This is a lovely version for starting to relax the hips. Sometimes the hips don't want to relax when we extend our feet out. So start to do a full body scan, starting with the crown of your head. Start to feel the energy of the earth drawing your energy down into it. Look for any places in your body where you may feel stuck. Where you're hanging on to energy, where you may be hanging on to tension. Gently release that. Allow your body to be heavy into the floor. Allow your hips to continue to sink into the floor. If you're in this bound angle pose, allowing your hips to gently open up, allowing your knees to float down. Gently breathing in and out of your nose. Expanding and contracting the belly while we breathe. While you're laying here, take that visualization again of your root chakra, glowing in red, tethering you to the earth. Bringing with it the sense that you are secure, that you are safe, that you are nurtured, that all of your needs are met. Knowing that this is the foundation we must all establish in order to become more confident, in order to have vitality, in order to find our creativity, to find our sense of adventure, in order to find our way to relate to others, in order to establish and see intention through, in order to love, in order to closely examine the self. It all starts with our foundation in the root chakra. I encourage you to lay here in Shavasana for up to 5 minutes. Wherever you are, I invite you to return back to the present moment. I invite you to begin to waken up your senses, moving your feet, moving your fingers, perhaps stretching out the body. Roll over to one side or the other and curl up into a ball. Rest for a few breaths. And then using the strength of your arms, join me in Sukhasana. Let's inhale our hands overhead. Exhale our hands out and down. Inhale our hands out and up. Exhale our hands out and down. One more inhale, hands out and up. Exhale, hands to Ajna, the third eye. Hands to Anahata, the heart center. Having started with this sensation of grounding and reminding ourselves of the foundation, may you have what you need to take on the challenges of this day and the rest of this week. The light in me joins the light in you. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. Namaste.